Kia ora, and welcome to the Cotality Property Market Update for Mahuru, September 2025. Aotearoa property values edged down again in August, falling by 0.2%. That marks 5 straight months of modest declines, totalling 1.4% since April. This has effectively reversed the small gains seen at the end of 2024 and early 2025, to the point where the median value is now 0.1% below the same time last year, and effectively unchanged for 2.5 years, back to the same value as the beginning of 2023. Looking at the main centres, we see some clear differences. Over the past 3 months, Tamaki Makaurau Auckland values dropped by 1.8%, and Te Whanganui-a-Tara Wellington by 0.5%, while Tauranga and Ōtautahi Christchurch both rose by 0.5%. Kirikiriroa Hamilton and Ōtepoti Dunedin saw smaller declines of 0.3% and 0.1% respectively. Recent Cotality analysis comparing dwelling growth to population changes from 2019 to 2024 helps explain some of this divergence. In Tamaki Makaurau Auckland and Te Whanganui-a-Tara Wellington, new housing supply outpaced population growth, loosening market conditions. In contrast, areas like Kirikiriroa Hamilton and Tauranga saw population growth outstrip housing supply, tightening the balance. While the physical supply and demand balance over short periods does not explain all changes in property values, it is obviously important. Available listings, the strength of local economies, and affordability calculations also play a significant role, so it's important not to solely rely on one statistic to assess a market, including its prospects. With winter behind us, the seasonal dip in listings looks to have ended. While total stock is still below this time last year, it's above the recent average. The spring selling season, typically peaking in November, will be key, especially in regions with higher choice, like Te Ōpuku o Te Ika a Maui, Wellington, Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, Te Tai Tokoro, Northland, Waitaha, Canterbury, and Te Tai Putini, the West Coast. In contrast, stock levels in Murihiku, Southland, and Tairāwhiti, Gisborne, have dropped by around 25%. If demand picks up, and especially if it outweighs new listings coming to the market, this could lead to upward pressure on prices, shifting buyer power towards sellers. However, the weak economy and labour market may limit how strong the next growth cycle becomes. Rental prices remain subdued, particularly in Tamaki Makaurau Auckland and Te Whanganui-a-Tara Wellington, where rents have fallen 2.3% and 1.5% respectively over the past year. This further reflects the clear shift in supply-demand balance, driven in part by a sharp drop in net migration. The Reserve Bank seems to be losing patience with the sluggish economy. In August, they cut the OCR by 25 basis points to 3% and signalled a further 2 25-point cuts likely this year. While inflation risks remain, they expect CPI inflation to settle around 2.5% in the longer term, giving them confidence to stimulate growth. Lending competition remains fierce. After a record number of borrowers switched banks in June, July broke that record again, with $2.6 billion in loans and nearly 4,000 borrowers making the move. Another key development is the government's new policy for foreign buyers. Golden visa holders can now purchase or build one home worth $5 million or more. While this won't impact most of the market, with only around 7,000 properties nationwide meeting that threshold, Queenstown may see more spillover, where 6% of homes exceed $5 million. Finally, across the Tasman, Australia's market continues its rebound. Property values rose 0.7% in August, the 7th straight month of growth. Despite similar affordability challenges, Australia's stronger economy and tighter supply are driving price increases. So while affordability in Aotearoa has improved to its best level since 2019, this highlights how critical a strong economy is to unlocking growth potential for current homeowners. Stay informed of all the latest developments by regularly visiting the newsroom at cotality.com/NZ, following us on Cotality NZ social channels, and subscribing to the New Zealand Property Market Podcast on all good podcast platforms. Mā te wā.